Morning folks, hello, fine folks of the realm. Kilt-Man here to discuss something new and wonderful in the run up to Halloween 2018, which is already getting rave reviews from the various premieres and previews that it's had around the world. So really gearing up for that. Halloween 2018. Michael, little Michael there, all excited. It's his time of year. Wake up, Michael. Time to kill. Kill teenagers having sex. Yes. Actually, he pretty much kills anyone these days, so it doesn't really matter. He doesn't discriminate, does he? So, anyway, there is a huge deluge of Michael Myers masks on the market. Some fantastic, some not so fantastic. And one of the leading lights in mask production is a company called Trick or Treat Studios, or TOTS as they're known to their fans. And these guys actually have the honour of having created the mask for the new movie, the Halloween 2018, 40 years on Michael Myers. And what they've done, they modeled it on the mask in the first movie, but they've sort of aged the mask so it looks 40 years older. It actually, in a clever move, looks like decomposing flesh, like the Shape, as he's known, has aged and become decomposed, and this sort of rotting cadaver with a big knife, and that's kind of cool. Justin Mabry is the guy who designed that mask and sculpted it. So if you buy the mask, the 2018 version, off Trick or Treat, you're getting one which is actually pulled from the original mould. So in theory, it should be an exact one-to-one replica of what you see in the movie. Looking online and looking at lots of people on YouTube who've managed to procure their mask way early, because this guy here didn't put his pre-order in until it was a little bit too late, so mine is still not even anywhere near on the way to coming to me, but hopefully in time for Halloween. Woo! And there's a marked sort of difference and disparity between certain versions. So all come from Trick or Treat Studios. I don't know what's going on there. Well, just people's lighting, on their videos. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to talk about an older mask from an older film. The Mask from Halloween 2, back in 1981. The first sequel to Halloween. And the best sequel to Halloween, as it turns out. Forget all the other sludge that came out afterwards. Jesus Christ, they didn't half go to town and ruin Michael Myers, didn't they? And of course, the new film wisely jettisons all the baggage of those sequels. It also forgets Halloween 2 even existed, because that was the big Empire Strikes Back revelation where Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis in the first movie, turns out to be Michael Myers' long lost sister, and that's why he's coming after her. And it doesn't really. It was a nice shocker at the time, a nice revelation. Big plot twist, yeah, kind of hooks you into that movie, but really in the long-term game, it's not a good idea. It just bogs you down with these ridiculous relationships, and you don't need to be, hampered by all that. So the new movie, which John Carpenter, the great John Carpenter, who created Halloween, is sort of producing, and he's done the score for it as well, because Halloween has that immortal, totally haunting, synthesized and piano score. They've leaked a bit of tracks from the new forthcoming score, and it sounds pure vintage John Carpenter at his best. So can't wait for that. I would play the tracks that have been leaked, but get in trouble for that, so I won't do that. Right, now let's go back to the main point of this video, and that's this guy here. This guy. Now this is, as I say, the mask from Halloween 2, which is, in fact, the mask from Halloween 1. Halloween 1 made in 1978, Halloween 2 made in 1881. In the intervening years, the film's producer, Deborah Hill, kept the original mask, which, as you probably know, is actually a William Shatner mask from way back in a Don Post mask from the mid-1970s, because the idea was they wanted a blank, emotionless face with the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. And there's only a couple of masks they picked on. Spock was one of them as well, and the William Shatner Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek. So they went for the William Shatner, and all they did is they stripped off, took the hair off it, and he had those massive Star Trek sides. So we had the sides down here. They tore them off. They repainted it, and whale belly white, I think it is. So it has that sort of stark, ghost-like appearance. Very handy for when, you know, he looms out of the shadows. There's a would-be victim is there, recording from some kind of body or prize trophy victim that he's left. And as they retreat into the darkness like that, suddenly in the background, this comes looming up. Ooh, very effective. And of course, they also modified other bits to it. They did various things. They put new hair on it and just battered it round. The guy that played him in that film was a fellow called Nick Castle. Big mad curly hair and a very long sort of horse's face. So in the first Halloween, he does look very sort of angular and very thin of face. He gets shot a few times at the end of that movie. I shot him 6 times. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. He just got up and walked away. He's not human. He's not a man. Bit of Donald Pleasance for you there. So obviously in Halloween 2 it's going to be a bit more battered. But the truth of it is, the reason why the mask looks so different in Halloween 2 is because of 2 things. Deborah Hill, the film's producer, kept the mask in her house for a couple of years between the movies. And she was a massive, massive chain smoker. That had an effect on the latex of the mask. And also the guy that played the Shape, or Michael Myers, in Halloween 2, is a different fella. And it's a John Carpenter regular stuntman, in fact, called Dick Warlock. And Dick Warlock is a different size and different shape than Nick Castle. He's shorter, and he has a bit like me, a bit of a sort of rounder, squatter sort of face. So when you put the mask on, it stretched the mask. It's become known amongst Michael Myers and Halloween aficionados as the Warlock stretch. So you actually buy masks now that totally endorse the Warlock stretch, because it's just this kind of wider sort of squatter face. And in fact, the look of that actually makes it a meaner looking visage. Don't know why, but I always found Michael Myers to be scary in Halloween 2 than he was in Halloween 1. And a lot of people obviously thought the same, because that mask really, really caught on. Now, other differences to it as well, because that mask was quite tight on Dick Warlock's face, in between takes he would forever be lifting it up off his face so he could breathe. And what this did, I don't know if you can see here, because they tried to capture it now, but on the nose there, obviously it got dirtier because he was forever pulling this thing up. And then underneath, you know, the chin, on the neck, again, because of all the wear and tear and the constantly taking it off and on again, the paint wore off. So you have this sort of skin type effect there where the paint's worn off. So now in Halloween 2, it's a much more battered sort of looking mask. So when they try to reproduce these things, they take all this into account. Different masks have different levels of wear and tear. And this is where the fun part of having these things comes in. Because you get your mask, and let's just sort this out. I don't know if you can see this very well. Oh, incidentally, today's kilt, we're wearing the Dress Gordon kilt. Kind of goes well with the camouflage, I think. Lovely little kilt pin there. I don't know if you're picking that up, but, you know. Kilt-Man's kilt of the day. Oh, and I always wear these, which are the Royal Stewart, and that's to show allegiance to the true King of Scotland. But we'll come on to all that another day. So, he buys your mask. Most people, very, very happy with them. Many other people, of course, then go an extra level. They've got their base mask there, and they then send it off to some other guy to sort of upgrade or even downgrade it. And they transform it, they do a repaint on it. they take the hair off and put new hair on. So you're buying a mask and then you're going to send it off to someone else. How much money are you going to spend on these things? Why are people never happy with what they get? But it's true though, because I got mine, and although I'm very, very happy with the basic shape, that's what it's called. I mean, you can see there, it's got, the profile is fantastic. It is a great mask. This camera's probably distorting the image somewhat, but it is a lovely bit of, considering it's mass produced, it's a great mask. And as you can see, what they do, they have the indentations and the damage where in real life the sideburns were ripped off, so you have the glue markings there. Now, when mine came, and with many others, there are lots of contours and damage on it, but really you can't see them. So instead of sending it off and having like a sort of resculpt done on it and any professional sort of aging, you can get latex paint. I don't trust myself with that. Pencil. My daughter's pencil. Actually, this isn't the pencil I used, but I couldn't find the right pencil. It has a rubber as well, so if you fuck up on it, ooh, take it off. But what I did, and let's just try and get a bit closer here. I've just knocked Michael Myers over. Sorry about that. Get back on your perch, boy. Come on. Watch out for pumpkins. So what I did with my pencil, I just went over little bits and shaded it in. The contours of the cheekbones, a bit more sort of wear and tear on the nose and the chin and the lips. I don't know if you're picking any of that up. And obviously on the glue markings here, it's just general shading. But it brings out some of the contours and some of the whatnot. Bit more detail around the eyes. I don't think this camera's picking up too well, but you get the gist of what I mean. But most famously is, now let's see if you can pick that up. I don't think you can really. It's known as the T. There's some of the damage, the most famous bit of damage on his mask. I mean, he's been shot, and he's fallen off a balcony and all sorts of things have happened to him. And it ends up with like this kind of T-shaped bit of damage here. There's the cross part, and there's the main shaft of the T, and it's just basically just scratches and welts and battering. So that was fun to. That is not picking up at all, is it? Well, you can probably see the contours there, so it's all right for that. And then of course you've got to mess around with the hair. I mean, it's just kind of funky at the moment. Because Michael has this sort of, when his hair's swept back, he has these little wisps that come out the side. So there's videos of people agonising over getting these little wisps just right, and they're putting, hairspray and gel and, hair sculpting clay, wax, trying to get these little wisps right. And, the more time you spend on it, the less like it actually looks. I've still got some work to do on this. The hair is also a bone of contention with the Trick or Treat Studios. Over the years, they've been going for many years, they've done different types of layering of the hair on. Some people complain about the hair coming out in big clumps, like Michael's got alopecia, stress-related alopecia, of course, for being a nut job. But I've been okay, mine's alright, it's not been coming out. But it is kind of, this is like my hair, in fact. Say I've just washed this ridiculous shaggy mess. Well, pretty much, woof, it's up like that. So that needs to be flattened down. But again, he has these crazy little wisps at the side, which just, kind of, they're iconic in their own fashion. Hope you're seeing this all okay. So it needs a bit of work doing on it. So, as I say, the mask in the new movie is modelled on the first mask, which is from the first movie, which is also this mask, although this mask has been distorted. So the one in the new film will not have that sort of stretch to it. It's a different guy playing him. It's James John Courtney, I think he is. But in a great little bit of cameo casting, the original Nick Castle, the original and classic Halloween shape Michael Myers, makes an appearance in it too. There's only a couple of shots that he's actually in, but it's kind of like a gesture of like he's passing the baton on really to the new guy who's playing Michael Myers, and it's a great call out to the fans. Plus, in several sequences, you're going to hear Michael's famous laboured breathing from inside the mask. You know, and that is Nick Castle doing that again, because apparently James John Courtney can't actually breathe. It's a medical condition of his. Another little nice aside for this. In the first movie, one of the times he springs up on Laurie, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. She's playing with a knitting needle. She's kind of nervous like that, and he comes up from behind his tea, and she goes, "Whoa!" Stabs him in the neck, and he goes, takes it out, falls over. Like that's going to hurt him. But in a nice touch, because Halloween 2, obviously, the film is set on the same night as Halloween 1, so he's going to carry all that damage over. There is, can you see here, a lovely little needle hole in his neck with a bit of blood around it. Just a nice little, we haven't forgotten that. There's also another mask where you've got the blood, what is known as the blood tears leaking down from his eyes, because at the end of Halloween 2, of course, he's trapped Laurie in the hospital that she's been taken to after all her injuries and ordeal from the first movie. And she and Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis have got him trapped in this room. Loomis has given her a gun, and Laurie, Michael, and shoots him. Good shots, boof, boof, in both eyes, blinding him. And that, by the way, don't know if you can see that. That is the coveralls he wears from the first two films. Replica. I have put bullet holes in them and blood stains, and the stab wounds. He gets stabbed with his own knife as well at one stage in the guts, so put a big knife thrust wound in there. But he's there in that, wearing that, shot in both eyes, and what does he have? What's his weapon of choice in Halloween 2? It isn't the knife, it's a scalpel. Here's a replica Halloween 2 scalpel. So Michael's like this, slashing around like that with his scalpel, holding up to his face. It's an iconic image. And while he can't see what's going on, Loomis, who's been stabbed with this, urges Laurie to get out the room, turns on all the oxygen cylinders and whatever gas they have in these hospital rooms. I don't know what they have. Could be anything. And gets his lighter out. It's time, Michael. Blows everything up, like just when you think it's all over and Laurie's cowering away. Doom, 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 doom. This flaming Michael Myers, engulfed in fire, starts striding down the corridor towards her. But, he's blind. He's been shot in the head. He's been stabbed. Everything's happened to him. And now he's totally on fire. Where's he going to go with this? Well, not very far. Down he goes, incinerated. And that would be the end. That would have been the end of Halloween. History, Hollywood, and greedy studio executives don't like things to end. Well, they can make some money out of it. So a lot more Halloween came our way. Some of it good, some of it shit. Most of it shit, in fact. But the first two films do stand as classics. Which is why, 40 years later, it's got to be the biggest horror film. Well, not just of this year, but possibly of any year, really, because I have been watching movies. I'm approaching the half century of my life. I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? I look so young. But yeah, so in all my life, and I've been a horror fan since I can remember. And I saw the original Halloween back in the 70s. Not at the flicks, but I did catch a video copy of it though, very swiftly, and was hooked. I already was hooked on horror, but this and John Carpenter's movies became, the main thing in my life, and still are. Even in all this time, I've never seen the hype for the movie. Now, of course, YouTube, the internet, everything gets hyped to the nth degree. Everything goes way, 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 way beyond what you could possibly imagine. And with all the merchandise, and just everyone gets on the bandwagon. And it's great. I love it. The weird thing is that, of course, most of the time when these films finally do come out, they don't live up to the expectations, because how could they? With that level, that enormity of hype and passion that everyone plows into. People like me going on about, "Way, Halloween's the best thing ever made. Oh, we're getting a new one. Wow, I can't wait for this. Oh, it's going to be awesome." You imagine that, increased exponentially around the world via the internet. It's poor film has got a lot to live up to, a lot resting on its shoulders. But by all accounts, it is worth the hype. Standing ovation at the Toronto Film Festival. Well, that kind of speaks for itself there. Okay, a lot of people who are watching were probably massive Halloween fans. But this is the thing again. This film has to please, well, not just new audiences, but it's got to please, the core fan base, the people who have created this monster of a franchise. Got to please them. Don't piss them off, because you owe it to them. They're the ones who put you on this, this pedestal. So, and by all accounts, it does it. It does no wrong. It's bigger, it's bloodier, but it keeps the suspense and the tension. Michael moves like the original Michael. This is the thing about it. When Dick Warlock took over the role in Halloween 2, he had he'd obviously watched Halloween, the first one, and tried to emulate Nick Castle's gait as he walks, and his stature and his movements, sudden head tilts. Well, that was a head turn, but the famous Michael head tilt, where he usually admires a victim, he's just strung up somewhere, or just wants to intimidate somebody. So he copied all that, but in so doing, he actually slowed down the walk a little bit too much. So when you see him stalking Laurie through the hospital corridors, he is really going slow. This is a snail's pace. And that's kind of creepy too. It doesn't matter, you can run as fast as you want, you can go as far away as you want. I'm just going to keep on coming, because I am going to catch you. Simple as that. I've got all the time in the world. And but in the original movie, he didn't move that slowly. It's kind of a bit of a myth. When you see him pursuing Laurie across the street from the house where she first encounters him, he's just moving at a normal pace. He's not rushing. He is not rushing, but he's not like just slow, paralysing, intimidating walk. 1, 2, 3. No, he's just walking at a normal pace. And that kind of makes it even, because that's the level of normality that Michael seems to have, because in the first movie, he's just a normal guy. He was a kid that killed his sister, and then gets put in a sanatorium, a madhouse, and then escapes, many years later on Halloween night to relive his crimes. But at that point, he's just a normal bloke, isn't he? He's just a mad bloke, but he's a human being. And then he gets a needle in the neck, he gets a coat hanger twisted and shoved in his eye, he gets his own knife in his guts, he gets fucking shot 6 times. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. He's not a man. Gets up, fucking runs away. And then of course Halloween 2, shot, stabbed, fucking all sorts, like burns, still comes back. So we kind of know there's a supernatural element to this guy. Of course, with the new movie, you're forgetting Halloween 2, where he gets shot a hell of a lot more times. So you've still got to take into account, and I wonder how they're going to do this, because he is shot several times. He's stabbed. He's clearly had a needle, coat hanger in the eye, a knife in his guts, and a needle in the neck, and he's still right as rain. So, how are they explaining that? I hope they do. Because the start of this movie is the very end of the original Halloween, 1978. So he's going to get shot from off the balcony, a back-breaking fall that would be, and he still gets up. But then, presumably, he gets caught like just round the corner and shipped off to the madhouse again. So, how does his wounds? How does he get over them wounds? How did he explain the fact that he's managed to survive all that? And then 40 years later, making him a guy who'd be 61. 61 at the time of this movie, this forthcoming movie. carrying those injuries, an older bloke, and by all accounts, his strength, which was always great anyway, he managed to lift a guy with one hand up, a big guy, up a wall, and then skewed him to the wall in the first movie. By all accounts, his strength in this is actually increased. So I want to know how they're going to... I'm looking forward to how they approach this supernatural, unkillable aspect. Or does he in fact die at the end of this? Who knows? Maybe him and Laurie. Because the basis of this story is that Laurie is suffering from PTSD from the first events of the first film, her ordeal. And she is still living in Haddonfield, or just outside. She has guns aplenty. She has now gone the, what's her name? The Sarah Connor route. She is a pure survivalist. Her house has got lockdowns and panic rooms and all sorts of security gizmos. Guns, 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 guns. And she's a fucking marksman now. So, and she's looking forward, she's been waiting all these years, knowing he's going to come back out again. And he's going to come for her. But this time, she's ready for him. She's not afraid of him. So you've got the finale of the movie. The last quarter of this film is, those two going, face to mask, knife to gun. And apparently it's an all-out, no holds barred, proper super brawl. And does some damage. So the two might end up dead at the end of it. Who knows? Do you know what I'd like? A nice little neat twist. Because Blumhouse Pictures and Danny McBride and the producer of... I forgot the other guy's name. The ones who've made this movie. They already have plans. I mean, you know this. You know this going in. This is a franchise. They're not going to just... If it's going to make money, and they want it to make money, and they're bigging it up. So they've always got the idea for a follow-on. Well, there was... Danny McBride, confessed a while ago at some Q&A session that there always was. This was meant to be the start of another trilogy, and as if it wouldn't be. Providing this new film's going to be a success, that was going to be the case. It's set in stone. This is going to be a success. So, how's this film going to end then? Well, I think a great way to be doing it, because Laurie's no longer the victim sort of thing. The two of them fight. At this point, Laurie goes over the balcony or tumbles down some stairs or falls down a hill or whatever. Michael comes out, to make sure, going for the kill or make sure she's dead, looks over and Laurie's gone. And then the music kicks in and Michael just goes. Camera zooms in on the blackest eyes. Music kicks in, and then Michael and Laurie will return. I think that'd be great. It turns the tables on him, you see, which does appear to be a bit of the thrust of this film. That Laurie she's no longer a victim. She's the mad woman in town. She's always banging on about what happened all those years ago. Oh Jesus, the babysitter murders. Oh yeah, she survived. Now she's gone cuckoo. The crazy lady she lives out in the woods now. So yeah, it's going to be great to see how this pans out. Bloody 19th of October. It's still ages off. It's a month away, for Christ's sake. There are secret screenings going to be held, apparently, all around the world. Certain cinemas are going to... But they're not going to announce that this film, obviously. Just that they've got a film to show. There's other films out which could be like fucking Venom. Venom? Tom Hardy, awesome actor, love him. Mad Max, he's brilliant. Not as good as Mighty Mel, but he still gave it loads. And a great character actor. But fuck me, Venom looks absolute shit. How do you make a Venom movie without Spider-Man? Why? Because 20th Century Fox still own the rights to Spider-Man, do they not? And they only lease him out to Marvel and Disney. So although Spidey can appear in certain movies, they're still clinging to him. But now that they've got the rights to all the other characters in the Spideyverse, so they're clinging on, for grim life, to try and claw some money in, and they're shit. And Venom looks truly appalling. But that could be one of the films that's, sort of on one of these secret showings. So. Halloween, folks. It looms. It loomises. So what do you think about this mask anyway? I have other Halloween masks. I have the one from H2O, Halloween H2O, which was a piss poor movie. That was billed, Halloween H20, 20 years on. Jamie Lee Curtis had now had a son. Laurie Strode had a son, and of course Michael reappears all these years later, looking really fucking funky as well. I like the mask, although that's got a troubled history, that mask. There's no less than 5 different masks in that movie, one of which is CGI and looks fucking diabolical. But the actual main mask, the eyes are too big. The hair is ridiculous. It's like some kind of punk. Big fucking fluffy, built up, back combed punk. It's like, oh, that's ridiculous. But what I like about it is the sort of zombie-like skin colour on the mask. It's like, again, not rotting flesh, but it's just come back from the grave. It's green and sort of mossy looking, and I actually like it. And in certain light, it looks really good. Especially when you get a few of these masks together, and that kind of stands out, that one, even more than the whale belly white ones. Sounds like some kind of rapper. Whale belly white, And yeah, when the new mask arrives, come on, I will obviously show you it and perhaps do some work on it. I don't know. It could be great out the box. Could be. Who knows? I'll do one of those famous unboxing things where you'll see me open and go, yeah, dead excited, and then go, oh, fucking hell. Mine's got 3 eye holes in it, 2 noses. Ah, fuck. Mine's got a head in it, a real head. Holy shit. But we'll see. It would have been great to have been playing Halloween music, but you've got to be very conscious of these things on the tube of the U, because copyright can descend like a sledgehammer and do you in. But that new track that's been released, oh, it's awesome. Do you know what that is? You know how John Carpenter learned to do that? That is it's 5/4 tempo, and it's he learnt it on the bongos because his dad was like a jazz player, and in this band. So from an early age, he learns, okay, so he's a synth guy, nothing wrong with that. But he can play piano, he can play guitar, he can play a lot of things, but he prefers synth is a lot easier, to manipulate and to use far more versatile. But he tours now with his son Cody and a couple of other guys. I've seen them. I saw them twice last year, 2017. I was dressed as Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. Snake, I heard you were dead. And he was great on stage, and he's touring again this year as well. But yeah, he learned that 5/4 rhythm on the bongos.